I'm Natalie Scott. I'm 26 years old, and the moment I saw my sister's face freeze on that screen in front of 12 million people, I felt something I didn't expect. Not satisfaction, not triumph, just this hollow ache in my chest that told me we could never go back to who we were before. Let me take you back to where this all started. 6 months before everything fell apart, I was working as a junior marketing strategist at Henderson & Cole, a mid-sized firm in downtown Chicago. The kind of place where you grind for years hoping someone upstairs will finally notice you exist. My sister Emma was 29, 3 years older than me, and she'd always been the golden child, the one with the effortless charm, the one who could walk into a room and make everyone feel like they'd just met their new best friend. I loved her. God, I loved her so much. But there was always this tiny seed of resentment buried deep in my chest, the kind you pretend isn't there, because acknowledging it feels like admitting you're a bad person. We both worked in marketing, Emma at a bigger agency in New York called Vertex Media. She'd call me sometimes late at night when she was stressed about a pitch or a difficult client, and I'd talk her through it, give her ideas, help her brainstorm. I never minded because that's what sisters do, right? You lift each other up. You're supposed to be each other's safe place in a world that's constantly trying to tear you down. The idea came to me on a Tuesday morning in March. I was sitting in my cramped apartment in Lincoln Park, drinking terrible instant coffee because I'd forgotten to buy the good stuff, scrolling through social media and feeling that familiar mix of envy and inspiration that comes from watching other people live their best lives. That's when it hit me. What if there was an app that could authentically connect brands with micro-influencers based on genuine interests and values rather than just follower counts, not just another influencer marketplace, but something that used AI to match brands with creators who actually cared about their products, who would create content that felt real because it was real? I spent the next 3 weeks obsessed. I built mock-ups, wrote a full proposal, created financial projections, designed the user interface on Figma until my eyes burned. I called it authentic, and I knew it was good. I knew it was the kind of idea that could actually change how brands and creators work together. I was so excited I could barely sleep. I'd wake up at 3 in the morning with new features to add, new ways to make it better. Emma called me on a Thursday night. She sounded stressed, frantic even. Her voice had that tight quality it got when she was drowning. "Natalie," she said, "I'm completely screwed. We're pitching to TechVision next week for their innovation showcase. You know, the one that gets broadcast on CNBC, and my concept just fell through. The client hated it. My boss is furious. I don't know what to do." TechVision's innovation showcase was legendary in our industry. It was this annual event where the biggest marketing and tech companies presented their most cutting-edge ideas to investors, industry leaders, and a national television audience. Getting selected to pitch was career-making, the kind of opportunity that could launch you into a completely different stratosphere. I should have seen it coming. I really should have. But in that moment, all I heard was my sister in pain. All I felt was that instinct to protect her that had been hardwired into me since we were kids. So I told her about Authentic. I walked her through every detail, every feature, every market insight. I even sent her my files, my mock-ups, my full presentation deck. She sounded so relieved, so grateful. "Nat, you're literally saving my life. I'll just use this as inspiration, to help me develop something similar. I won't use your exact idea, I promise." I believed her. I wanted to believe her because the alternative was too painful to consider. 2 weeks went by. Emma went quiet. She didn't return my calls, didn't respond to my texts. I told myself she was just busy preparing for the pitch, that she was stressed and needed space. Then my colleague Marcus showed me the promotional material for the TechVision showcase. He pulled it up on his phone during lunch, his eyes wide with excitement. "Dude, check out these pitches. Some of them look insane." I felt my stomach drop before I even read the description. There it was, Authentic, an AI-powered platform connecting brands with micro-influencers through genuine value alignment, presented by Emma Scott, senior strategist at Vertex Media. They'd even used my name, my actual concept name, the one I'd spent hours workshopping until it felt perfect. I called her immediately. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold my phone. It rang 4 times before she picked up. Her voice was cheerful, annoyingly cheerful. "Hey, Nat. What's up? I can't really talk. I'm in the middle of prep." "You took my idea," I said. My voice didn't sound like mine. It sounded like someone else. Someone harder, someone colder. "You took authentic. You took everything I gave you, and you're presenting it as your own." There was a pause. A long, terrible pause, where I could hear her breathing. When she finally spoke, her tone had shifted. Defensive now. Confrontational. "Natalie, come on. You gave me inspiration. You knew I needed help. Besides, you're at a tiny firm in Chicago. What were you going to do with it? This is my big break. This could change my entire career. You'd do the same thing if you were in my position." "No," I said. "I really wouldn't." But she'd already hung up. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at my ceiling, feeling like someone had reached into my chest and ripped something vital out. This wasn't just about the idea, it was about trust, about the fundamental belief that the people who love you won't destroy you for their own gain. I kept thinking about all the times I'd helped her, all the late-night calls, all the ideas I'd shared freely because I thought we were a team. The showcase was scheduled for 3 weeks away. It would be filmed live at the Javits Center in New York and broadcast on CNBC. I had 3 weeks to decide what kind of person I was going to be, the kind who let it go, who swallowed the betrayal and moved on, or the kind who fought back. I chose to fight, but not in the way you might think. I didn't expose her, I didn't call the producers or send angry emails. Instead, I did something much simpler. I did nothing. You see, Emma had my presentation, my mock-ups, my surface-level concept, but she didn't have the thing that mattered most. She didn't have the depth, the technical knowledge, the months of research I'd done into AI algorithms and influencer marketing psychology. She didn't know how the back-end would actually work. She didn't understand the data architecture or the machine learning models that would make the matching system function. She had a beautiful shell with nothing inside it. I knew they'd ask questions, real questions, technical questions. That's what the showcase was known for. They didn't just want pretty presentations, they wanted viable products. And Emma had never bothered to actually understand what made authentic work. She'd just taken the shiny parts and assumed that would be enough. I bought a plane ticket to New York. I told myself I was going to support a friend who'd gotten tickets, but really I needed to see it happen. I needed to watch the consequences unfold in real time. The Javits Center was massive, intimidating, filled with the kind of people who wore confidence like expensive cologne. I sat in the audience with my friend Rebecca, my heart pounding so hard I thought people around me could hear it. There were cameras everywhere, the red lights blinking like warning signs. The CNBC banner stretched across the stage. The panel of judges included venture capitalists, tech CEOs, marketing legends, people who'd built empires and could smell incompetence from a mile away. Emma looked beautiful. I had to admit that. She wore a navy suit that fit perfectly, her hair blown out and glossy under the stage lights. She had that smile, that confident Emma smile that had gotten her through 1,000 situations on charm alone. When they announced her name, the applause was polite, professional. I watched her walk to the center of the stage, and for just a second, just one tiny second, I saw her eyes scan the audience, saw them land on me, saw something flicker across her face, fear maybe, or recognition of what was about to happen. Her presentation was smooth at first. She'd practiced the script I'd written. She showed my mock-ups on the giant screens. She talked about authentic connection and value alignment. She sounded good, really good. And I felt this terrible moment of doubt. What if she actually pulled this off? What if she got away with it? Then came the questions. The first judge was a woman named Patricia Chen, a venture capitalist known for funding 3 unicorn startups. She leaned forward, her expression sharp and interested. "This is fascinating, Emma. Can you walk us through the specific AI model you're using for the matching algorithm? Are you using collaborative filtering, content-based filtering, or a hybrid approach? And how are you training the model to understand nuanced brand values?" I watched Emma's face change, watched the confidence crack just slightly. She smiled, that same charming smile, but her eyes had gone distant, panicked. "Well," she said, "we're using a sophisticated machine learning approach that analyzes multiple data points." Patricia didn't smile back. "Right? But which specific approach? What's your training data set? How are you handling bias in the algorithm?" Emma blinked, her mouth opened and closed. "We're still refining the technical specifications," she said, "but the core concept is what matters, the human connection element." The second judge jumped in, a tech CEO named Robert Kim. His voice was polite but pointed. "I'm confused about your monetization strategy. You mention a subscription model for brands, but also a commission on collaborations. How do you prevent double dipping? And what's your customer acquisition cost projection?" I watched my sister actually floundering on national television. She tried to answer, but the words came out wrong, contradictory. She kept saying things like, "We're exploring options, and the market will determine," which any experienced person could recognize as code for, "I don't know." It got worse. They asked about data privacy, about scalability, about competitive advantages, about technical infrastructure, and Emma had nothing. She didn't have answers, because these weren't things she'd ever bothered to understand. She'd thought the idea alone would be enough, thought her presentation skills could carry her through, but these people hadn't built empires by accepting pretty packaging. They wanted substance, and she had none to give. I watched her stumble through 7 more minutes of questioning, watched her face go from confident to uncertain to desperate, watched her try to laugh it off, try to charm her way out. But there's no charming your way out of ignorance when you're claiming expertise. The camera operators kept zooming in on her face, capturing every moment of her humiliation for the 12 million people watching at home. When she finally left the stage, the applause was thin, awkward, the kind of sound people make when they're uncomfortable and don't know what else to do. I saw her walk past the wings, saw her shoulders hunched forward, saw everything she'd tried to steal crumbling around her. My phone buzzed. It was a text from my boss at Henderson & Cole. "Are you watching this? That concept sounds exactly like what you told me about last month, the one you were developing." I stared at the message for a long time before I responded. "It is." I sent it to him. Every file, every document, every piece of proof that Authentic was mine. Within 2 hours, I had a meeting scheduled with our firm's partners. Within 3 days, I was presenting Authentic myself, this time with my name on it, this time with answers to every question. Emma called me that night. I was back in my hotel room staring out at the Manhattan skyline. I let it ring twice before I answered. I didn't say hello, I just waited. "You did this," she said. Her voice was wrecked, raw with tears. "You set me up. You let me fail." "No," I said quietly. "I gave you everything you needed to succeed. You just never bothered to actually understand it. You wanted the glory without the work. You wanted my dream without putting in the years of grinding I did to build it. I didn't make you fail, Emma. You failed yourself." She hung up on me again, but this time I didn't care. 6 months later, Authentic launched as Henderson & Cole's flagship innovation project. I was promoted to senior strategist, given my own team, featured in Adweek magazine. Emma left Vertex Media. Whether she quit or was fired, I never found out. I stopped following her on social media, stopped returning her calls. Our mother tried to mediate, tried to bring us back together, but some breaks can't be fixed, some betrayals cut too deep. I still think about that moment sometimes, watching her fall apart on that stage, and I feel that same hollow ache, not because I regret what I did, but because I lost my sister that day. I lost the person who was supposed to be my ally, my safe place, my family, and she lost everything too. Her career, her credibility, her sister, all for an idea she never bothered to truly understand. We both paid the price, just in different ways, and neither of us got what we really wanted, which wasn't success or recognition, but each other. And that's a wound that never quite heals, no matter how many times you tell yourself you made the right choice.